Last year, I built my own world for Star Wars called the Dark Universe. This year, I thought I'd start a new universe, a more fantasy-driven one that will incorporate fantasy, sci-fi, steampunk, and anything else I can think of. This map will grow and more will be added as I expand this universe, and we will meet the residents, myths, legends, and monsters of this strange faraway land. Welcome to Shambalshire. My name is Aaron, and you're watching Terrain by Aaron. This time we visit a little tiny village nestled just off the dry tongue desert called Puckleberry Downs. Village folk lead a simple life there, keeping themselves to themselves. A pretty boring average village as villages go, and one that we wouldn't be even visiting if it wasn't for what was visiting them. The Carnival of Lost Souls. Now, more on that story later. For now, let's start scratching that build. So I've had this toy in my bit box for ages now, decided it was time to make something with it, so I'll take the lights off the front first, I believe. And before I break another pair of snips, I'll get some more heavy duty snips. These'll do. I want to try and save these because they're like sort of spotlights that I'll probably use later on in the build. And one flew off in one direction and it took me a good 15 minutes to find it on the man cave floor. I grabbed one of the other halves nail files just to file or sand everything down just nicely. Once that was done, a quick trip to my local coffee shop, wearing a disguise obviously, so I could borrow some coffee stirrer sticks. Lifetime ban means nothing to me. These sticks are to cover the back of the vehicle up with. I imagine that this was some sort of catching device for the villagers and would also help quickly cover the gap at the back without breaking out any styrene sheet. Before I apply any panels, I'm going to make a frame using some BBQ sticks. You can get a big pack of these for a couple of euros in your local $1 store. I carefully glue these to each side, and then I add the last one on the top, which is just slightly not straight, simply because I want to give it that surreal sort of look. And here I have the panels, the coffee stirrer sticks that were cut down, and I scored with the back of my hobby knife just to give it some sort of texture, and then they're just going to get stuck down. No surreal ghost-like carnival is ever complete without skulls. I love using skulls on projects when I can. They can mean so many different things and also help alleviate a project that is kind of basic in its build. So what I'm doing with these skulls is putting one on each corner on the top and also along the rim on the bottom, just to give it that sort of scary carnival vibe sort of feel. With the skulls done, it was time to pimp out the back wheels. I found some in my bit box and simply glue them onto the existing wheels. I found this terrible looking skull in my bit box and thought it'd be fun to incorporate it. Just fitted the toy perfectly, just there. And I thought that would be fantastic, but then I'm looking at the skull thinking, the skull needs to change a little bit. I need to do something with this skull. And that's when I remembered I had this. A spare helmet from one of my previous builds called the Last Night. If you haven't seen that already, go watch it. It's more storytelling on the land called Shambalshire. And I would love to put a link right now up on the screen for that video, but I'm just getting around to making decent videos, so you know, baby steps. Anyway, I'm just going to rejig this hat to make it look more like a nose and then stick it onto my skull. And while that sets, let's move back to the actual vehicle. So I want a little industrial steampunk vibe to go on in the back of the vehicle. My idea is it sucks the essence or soul out of your body. So one bit is from a Nerf toy and the other I have no idea, but with a little tweaking I might be able to fit a light into one of these pipes. I have a general idea about lighting, so rigged up a bulb and gave it a test, and hopefully the light will shine through this bit of plastic. Yes, it does. Game on, let's get it all put together. While I do that, it's code word time. If you want to comment on this video, put this code word into your comment so I know you got here before skipping. Also, dropping a like and subscribing will help the channel with the YouTube gods. And the code word is Scully Skullhead. So I made up a little nozzle type thing for the top of my pipe, just using random bits and pieces from the bit box. And then I just simply glue it down to the top of the pipe. Job done. Back to the nose, using a little milliput, I covered all the gaps so it's ready to attach to the skull. And quickly realised I may have made something that resembles Turnip 28. I wheel out a new toy I got. I kind of pretend I'm taking measurements, and while I do that, let's name drop some awesome subscribers who have left comments on previous videos. Thank you to all for your support, I really appreciate it. If you'd like to further support the channel, I have a members page, €2 a month. You'll get to see builds weeks in advance, priority chat if you want, and also badges. I know it's not for everyone's taste, but it's there if you would like to help. And after all that, I make a little frame using BBQ sticks that I glue down either side of the vehicle, and add a few more sticks just to give it that sort of shape for the next bit, which I forgot to film. Alright, my excuse is I've not been doing this very long. Anyway, I'm going to make some candles out of air dry clay. So the way I made these candles was just get a little dollop of, is it a dollop? Is it? I don't know. Just get a little bit of the air dry clay and sort of roll it so it's like a little tube. Stick it on something that isn't going to stick to, and then just prod it with a pokey tool. And there's your candle. Oh, and the wick is made from solder. Job done. Now back to the bit I forgot to film that I'm refilming, just so then you understand what I'm filming. Oh my word, I've got a headache already. Anyway, this is cheesecloth that I'm just going to cut down. I'll carefully lay it over the A-frame work of the BBQ sticks and cut down to size. And this bit is going to get messy, so to save the work top, I'm going to get some card, put the model on top of the card, and then with some watered down Mod Podge, I'm just going to apply that to the cheesecloth. It takes a while, but this is basically so then once everything is dried, the cheesecloth will have a little bit of texture to it and not just look like random bits of material stuck to either side of the vehicle. While all that dries, I'm going to make a little diorama for the Carnival of Souls, so some XPS foam is needed. You're going to need some cork mats. You can buy these from Amazon if you so wish. I just took these off the dining room table and will deny everything when the other half comes in and finds some are missing. I break the cork mats down into little chunks and then glue them onto the XPS foam. I'm going to try and make some sort of like a crazy stone pathway. I haven't really tried this before, so anything could happen. Keep doing all that until you're left with this. I just painted it with a mixture of black acrylic paint and Mod Podge just to seal everything in, and then I'm going over it with some grey airbrush paint from Vallejo. You can paint this if you want with a paintbrush. I just like using my new airbrush toy. Now that the grey is dry, I'm going to go back in with some red on random bits of pathway. I'm going to do this on certain bits and pieces, but I'm going to change it up with different colours just to give it that sort of, I don't know, you don't usually see a plain cobbly stone. It's always got different colours in, so that's what I'm trying to do here. Work with me, it'll look okay in the end. I repeat the process yet again with a different colour, and then yet again with another different colour. So we'll skip all this and I'll show you the end result. So my pathway is done, and now I've got some polyfiller, or I think this will be called spackling in the US. It's the really fine, non-gritty stuff. I'm going to try and seal all the gaps in between the stone with this polyfiller. Now, I've seen this done before. I've never done this technique, so I'm getting a squeaky bum at the moment because there's an awful lot of residual polyfiller everywhere. But I know I can wipe it off with some wet towel, hopefully, because I'd be gutted if that won't come off now. Okay, so moment of truth. The polyfiller has had time to dry, and now I'm just... Oh, that is a relief. Yeah, it's the excess on the path is actually coming off, which is lovely. Yeah, well, I'm glad because it took me ages to do this. So, yep, lovely. Move on. To tidy up the edging, I'm just going to use some of this, which is like a mud paste. So that's going to get all painted along the edges. And then it's to the actual vehicle, and that's what it looks like all put together. It was a spray can of black as the primer colour. Yes, it looks like a bat, and that was the idea I had in my head. So now what I'm going to do is use some Vallejo. I think this is like a tank green or something. I'm just going to use that as the base coat to start off with, and then slowly start layering more colours on, but be very subtle with them. I don't want anything to pop out too much, simply because this is from the deepest depths of hell, or wherever it's come from, and it's not going to have bright yellow colours like Pokemon. So while I do that, I'll tell you the story of the Carnival of Lost Souls. Once a year, if years were such a thing in Shambalshire, a strange parade of lost ex-circus performers come to visit the little village of Puckleberry Downs. Those who are lucky enough to retell the tale call it the Carnival of Lost Souls. Once the animals grow silent and the birds stop singing, the locals know it's time for them to go inside, lock their doors, and peer through tiny cracks in their curtains and watch as a strange fog starts to roll in, slowly revealing the carnival which travels through the village streets. The villagers recount as they hold their breath, hoping the Carnival of Lost Souls doesn't come knocking on their door. Legend has it, the souls are looking for recruits to join the carnival. For those unlucky enough to be caught out in the street, have their essence sucked out of their body into the pipe of the machine which glows bright blue when full. Then the strange carnival moves on, disappearing slowly back into the fog. The cries for help from those who have been caught by the Carnival of Lost Souls slowly disappear into the night. No one knows where it goes. Some say that it goes back to the depths of hell itself. Others believe it travels Shambalshire, always looking for recruits, always hidden in the fog. My advice to you is just remember, when the birds stop singing and a strange mist starts rolling in, maybe you should head inside and close those curtains. So that's the story of the Carnival of Lost Souls. I hope you enjoyed the story. Let me know in the comments below. Glamour shots are next. So, thanks for watching.